Welcome to week 6 of Cooking with Kal, the only show where Kal's the host. Unfortunately, Reese has taken a permanent leave of absence, but I have a new guest with me today. This here is Jared. Jared, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Kal.
What are you going to be making for us today?
Oh, we're going to be making eggplant stacks that are going to be separated by layers of chevre cheese and roasted red peppers.
Okay, well that sounds good. Let's get started, huh?
First and foremost, we need to get that eggplant out here.
All right.
We're going to chop this guy up into about 1/4-inch slices. And obviously we want to get the ends off first.
Okay.
And the good 1/4-inch. We don't want them to be too skinny because they're going to dry up a little bit in the oven. We still want them to retain their kind of moist meatiness after they come out. All right, now what the next step is going to be is we're going to blanch these guys in salt water. So if you want to go ahead and fill up this tub with some water and put a couple seconds of pour of salt into there as well. And then what this will do once we put them into the salt water is it'll take out a lot of the bitterness. And then also for people like me who are a little bit allergic to eggplant, it makes it less allergenic.
So you eat food that you're allergic to?
It'll just give me a little bit of a tickle in the mouth. If I ate just a raw eggplant, then we're starting to get real trouble.
All right, how much salt are we talking about here?
Oh, we can do just a good little palm size, maybe a olive leaf. We want to get it pretty salty in there. And since we've got about, 2 quarts of water. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
And here we go. We can stir that around in there.
Okay.
Now we're going to just slip these guys in here. And we want to keep these in for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you just want to keep flipping them around in there so they get all the salt water really all over the place so the salt can just bring out that bitterness.
Gotcha.
Now we're just going to let those sit over in there. Now if you'll hand me the red peppers.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you. Now we're going to core this guy.
You mean extract the core?
Extract the core.
Oh, man, you were good at that.
Just take it out. We don't want any of those seeds or anything to follow. And then just chop it in half, then in quarters. And ideally what we're looking for is to get about 1-inch squares. Mm-hmm. You can do a little bit bigger. I prefer a little bit bigger just because I love the sweetness that these guys can bring to it. The stacks are going to get narrower as they get to the top. So you want to get some small pieces and some large pieces. There's these white guys in the middle. We're going to go ahead and get these out there because they take away from the flavor of the good sweet red peppers. All right, so now this recipe is something that you'd want to serve with like a party where it's not exactly going to be a meal, but you need a little bit more than just refreshments. Right. It'll be light, but it can also get a little filling for you as well. Now, if you want to go ahead and flip those guys over just so both sides can get in the salt water, we can actually pour a little bit of salt on top of them too, just so they can keep drying out and getting that bitterness off.
So you said more salt?
Yeah, just pour a nice little helping of salt all over on top of them. All right, so now we're gonna just wait a little bit longer for those guys to sit in it. We've got our red peppers right here ready to go. And next we're gonna go ahead and bring the cookie tray over.
This one?
That's it. Now let's just get a little bit of olive oil, and I mean just a tiny, tiny little bit, just to make the pan a little bit greasy so we don't have anything sticking on it. If you'll actually get me a paper towel or... There we go. Just grease this pan up so nothing sticks.
It's a good looking pan, man.
It shimmers. Now, we're gonna get those eggplant circles. They've probably been in there for a good little bit now. And we're gonna put these on the pan. It doesn't really matter where we put them on here. They're not gonna bleed over into each other. While I'm doing this, you can go ahead and set the oven to 400 degrees.
Okay. You said set it to 400?
Set it to 400 degrees.
That is set.
So we've got our eggplants nice and laid out on here. And in the corners and in between all the eggplants, that's when we're gonna put all of our peppers. And we wanna get the outside up first, just so it can kind of get a little cooking, nice color on the top of the skin. So you want it just before they start to char on the top because it'll give it this nice, rich flavor. So we're going to go ahead and set the oven to 400 degrees, which it's probably just preheated to now. And we're going to put that in there.
Oh, let me do that.
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
Now the goal of this is we're going to keep them in there probably for about 30 minutes. We want the eggplant to start to get a little golden. We'll flip them over and gold the other side.
Okay, well, fortunately, we already have some ready, so we can skip ahead to the next part.
All right, so we've gotten these eggplants. They're still a little bit mushy. We want them, but they're golden brown on the top.
Yes, they are.
And that is perfect with what we want. And you can see, as I was saying, with these, we've got a little charred on the top, but still retaining their nice red color. All right, so now we're going to get into the fun part of stacking the eggplants. So we're going to get some of the bigger ones, the kind of meatier ones, and they're going to be our base. Put them down, and I always love to start with the cheese. Good old goat cheese. So just get a slice of that, put it on top of the eggplant. Now the other part of this is we're going to get that pesto. If you can hand me the pesto, Kal.
Here you go.
Now, perfect. Now, if this were the summer, I'd make my own. It's really easy, just basil, pine nuts, a lot of Parmesan, and more olive oil than you'd think you'd ever want to eat. But since this is closer to winter time, we are just gonna go ahead and use it as a can, just because it's a little bit easier. All right, and then so we get our goat cheese and our eggplant, and we're gonna put this pesto right on top of that cheese. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna get a nice piece of bell pepper and put it on top of our cheese mix. And then we go get another slightly smaller piece of eggplant, stack it on top of there.
Like a sandwich.
Like a sandwich. Now, if you want to give it a little bit more of a, like a glue, you can do a little bit more cheese, just a little bit to make it a little stickier, to keep everything all together. All right, and then we just start the process over again. A little cheese on top, a little pesto on top of the cheese. Mix it around there, and put another bell pepper. See, we can use a slightly smaller bell pepper for this guy since it's just a slightly smaller stack. A little cheese glue on the top of this bell pepper here, and start the next level. All right, if you want to go ahead and give me a plate, we can start to serve this guy.
All right. Oh, how's this? Is this a good plate?
That looks perfect. That is going to be more than perfect, Kal.
Okay.
All right, and now let me just do this final last layer. Now, I always like to end the layer on bell pepper just because it's such a beautiful color and it mixes with the other greens of the eggplant. It gives it just a beautiful look. Fantastic. All right, so now we've got it all stacked. We've got our nice red bell pepper on the top, and we are ready to serve it.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and get a little taste?
You know what? I am going to go ahead and try a little bit of it.
All right, you're certainly going to need a knife here just because the eggplant.
Let's, all right, here we go. Here we go.
And I'm going to cheat and make a little one next to you.
This is really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And it looks nice too. That's one of my favorite parts is how not only does it taste good, it looks like you've really accomplished something.
All right, yeah, I would call that a success. Jared, thank you so much for coming on today and making this for us. As always, you can tweet at us at Cooking with Kal, or you can just leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. And that's the show. That's what the show is going to be like.
And what does this have to do with culinary school?
Well, this is for my application to culinary school. They're going to, see. I'm trying to show that I'm serious about cooking.
Is this as serious as you are about everything else? Whatever happened with your fencing lessons? You fired the teacher a couple of days after I spent all that money.
It hurt.
And what about that business with you being a professional musician? You made me buy that flute. I threw away my money because you didn't do anything with it.
I didn't have the lips for it.
And how about that photography career that you had in mind?
I found out about Photoshop.
You know what? As far as I'm concerned, you're old enough to take care of all your things on your own. Get a job. Finance your own cooking lessons.
So can I go now?
Everybody go! Dad,
I can't give you any more money. I'm not going to give you money for culinary school. I'm not going to give you money for rent. You need to do it yourself. And don't even bother coming back to the house. Because it's being renovated.
Well, Eve, at least we have each